My name is Benzar Sabang. My report for today is all about dimensions of organization structure. The purpose of structure is the divisions of work among members of the organization and the coordination of their activities so they are directed toward the goals and objectives of the organization. Structures makes possible the applications of the process of management and creates a framework of order and command through which the activity of the organization can be planned, organized, directed, and controlled. The structures define the tasks and responsibility, works rule, and relationship and channels of communication. Structure is clearly important for any organization. Whatever its size, however, in the smaller organization, they are likely to be fewer problems of structure. The distribution of tasks, the definitions of authority and responsibility, and the relationship between members of organization can be established on a more personal and informal basis. With increasing size, however, there is a greater need for a carefully designed and purposeful forms of organization. There is need for a formal organization structure. There is also need for a continual review of structure so ensures that it is the most appropriate forms of the particular organization and it's keep with the growth and development. This is likely to be of particular importance for the very large company. So here is the examples of the structure, the functional structure. So we have CAO, marketing, sales, and services. The functional structure is based on organization being divided up into smaller groups with specific tasks or roles. For example, a company could have a group working in information technology, another in marketing, and another in finance. Each department as a manager or director. So as you can see, the structure is divided into a marketing, sales, and services. Every department as a manager or director who answered to an executive or level in the hierarchy who may observe multiple departments such as example a director of marketing who supervise the marketing department and answer to a vice president who is in charge of marketing, finance, and IT division. An advantage of this structure is employees are grouped by skills set and function, allowing to focus their collective energy and executing their roles department. Next is objectives of structures. Objectives of structure, the economic and efficient performance of organization and level of resources utilization. Efficiency, everyone's need to understand the rules in the company. Operation, do this part well. If two people perform unnecessary overlapping tasks, the company wasting labor resources. If no one is handling a particular task become they don't think it's within their rule, the company faces another forms of inefficiency. Structure help to define department job and rule around the task and its function and company needs executive as a company grow, downsize, or business changes, they should periodically review their structure to make the structure match their efficiency need. Next is monitoring the activity of organization. Monitoring all the activity of the company must be monitored by the CEO down to the different department, from marketing to finance to IT and to the human resources, to the down to the human resources and so on, so that the data will be collected. Next is coordinations of different parts of organization and different area works. Accountability. Good organization chart illustrate who report to whom, that everyone has clear idea of how they hold accountable. This help everyone knows from whom to take direction, they where they it fit into the overall scope of a operation, and the scope and limitation and their rules. Next is coordination of flexibility in order to respond future demand and the developments, and to adapt to changing environmental influences and the social satisfactions of member working in the organization. Flexible organization will also identify more opportunity in the environment and will take advantage of this opportunity, thereby enabling itself to profit in environment in which more rigged companies would not be able to prosper. There are too many benefits of the flexible organization, but these are most of them. When enable your company to become adaptable, it is able to evolve with the times, and it will survive longer, become continually more prosper. Organis Next, organization structure and culture. In previous chapters, we have made the point that the organization does not exist independently, but is open to and it continual interaction with the broader internal environment, of which is part. A major determinant of an organization structure is its culture. The pervasive nature of our culture in terms of both internal influences and how things are done around here. And the common values, beliefs, and attitude will have significant effect of organizational process, including the design of structure. Organizational structure, the formal system of work rules and authority relationship that govern how associate and the manager interact with one another. Organizational culture involves the values and norms shared by manager and associate that influence behavior and is a powerful force in organization. Watson suggests that we must be careful not to treat structure or culture as if they were solid things that exist separately from the process and relationships that the two concepts are intended to help us make sense of. The structures of work organizations also involve the wider context of societal structures and cultures. Societal structures both contributes to and result from organizational structures. Watson also refers to the closeness and overlap of structure and culture. Many of the process and practices we observe in organization could as readily be said to be part of structure of organization as part of its culture. The importance of good structure. According to Dutcher, it is the correct design for structure that is the most significant in determining organizational performance. Good organization structure does not maybe itself produce good performance, but a poor organization structures makes good performance impossible, not matter how good an individual managers may be. To improve organization structure will therefore always improve performance. The next is the human, sorry, business. Business is required structure to grow and be profitable. Otherwise, you have people pulling at all sorts of different direction. Planning and structure ensure there are enough human resources with the right skills to accomplish the company's goals and ensures responsibilities are clearly defined. Each person has a good descriptions that outlines duties, and each job occupies its own position on the company and organization chart. Next is the human elements. Okay. The functions of the formal structure and activities and defined relationships within exist independently of the members of organization who carry out the work. However, personalities are an important parts of working of organization. In practice, the actual operations of organization and success in meeting its objectives will depend upon the behavior of people who work within the structure and who give shape and personality to the framework. Lord Report example has drawn attention to the importance of human elements in organization structure. A human aspect in a business is vital. You can keep drawing squares and lines, but within these squares, you must have people and they must be deeply involved with the business. If this not happen, then the lines and square and the diagrams are mean nothing. According to Hannigan, softer corporate values are being emphasized now compared to the harder values by concentrating more on staff training, developing skills, and ensures that all employees understand the organization's values. There is a shift from the harder value of strategy, structure, and system to the softer ones of staff skills and style. Levels of organization. Organizations are layered. The determinations of policy and decision making, the execution of work, and the exercise of authority and responsibility are carried out by different people at varying levels of seniority throughout an organization structure. In small organization, this activity tend to be less distinct, but in the larger organization, it is possible to look at organization in terms of three broad interrelated levels in the hierarchical structure: the technical level, the managerial level, and the community level. These last two levels are often referred to as a middle management and senior management. A technical levels is concerned with a specific operation and discrete task, with the actual job or task to be done, and with the performance of the technical function. Example are the physical production of goods in manufacturing firm, administrative process, giving direct service to the public and government, government departments, and actual process of teaching in educational establishment, the technical level interrelated with the managerial level, or the organization level. Okay, so I will discuss the technical skills. Technical skills are most important. For first level manager, when it comes to the top manager, these skills are not something with a high significance level. As we go through the hierarchy from the bottom to the higher level, technical skill lose their importance. Next is organizational level. Organizational level, which is concerned with coordination and integrations of work. Sorry. Okay, so again, organizational level, which is concerned with the coordination and integrations of work at the technical level. This decision at the managerial level relates to the resources necessary to performance of the technical function and to the beneficiaries of the product or services provided. These skills represent knowledge or ability of the manager. For more abstract thinking, that means it can easily see the whole through analysis and the diagnosis of a different state in such a way they can predict the future of the business or the department as a whole. The last one is the community level or institutional level. In turn, the managerial level interrelated with the community or level or institutional level concerned with the broad objectives and the work for the organization as a whole. Decisions at the community level will be concerned with the selections of operation and the development of organization in relation to external agencies and the wider social environment. Examples of the community level with organizations are the board of directors of joint stock companies and governing bodies of educational establishments, which include external representatives, the trustee of non-profit organizations. Such bodies provide mediating links between the managerial organization and coordinations of work of the technical organization and the wider community interests. These skills will be enable manager to become a leader and motivate employees for the better accomplishment. Also, they will help them to make more effective use of human potential in the company. Simply, they are essential skill for a manager. Next is interrelationship of labor. In practice, there is no clear division between determination of policy and decision making. Coordination of activities and the actual execution of work. Most decisions are taken by reference of the executions of wider decision, and execution of works involve decision. Decisions taken at the institutional level determine objectives of the managerial level, and decisions that the managerial level set objective for a technical level. If organization as a whole it is to perform effectively here must be clear, objective, a soundly designed structure and good communication both upward and downward among the different levels of organization. Not all activities concerned with the management of an organization can be considered necessarily in terms of these three levels of work. There will be certain activities that are analyzed more meaningfully in terms of a greater or possibly a smaller number of levels In many cases, movements towards more democratic organizations, empowerment, an increase in knowledge workers and technological advances have contributed to the blurring of a clear differentiation between policy management and the execution of work. However, the three board level provide a basis for a critical analysis of interrelated activity of the organization. Next is the management process in the local government. An example of the interrelationship between the different levels of organization can be seen from the comments in the brain reports of management in local government. The report recognized that elected members remain responsible for ultimate direction and control of the authority. Key decision on objectives and plans to attain them and reviewing process and performance of services. However, the report also refers to the dual nature of management and to the changing relationship between permanent officer and elected member as the different stages of management process. The report concluded all audit commission refers to the harmful gaps caused in local government and the National Health Service by the delayering, the stripping out of middle manager, which have been carried out a full understanding of the impact of the councils. Next is divide between senior and middle management. Traditionally, senior manager have been concerned with the setting the strategic direction and objectives of organization. Middle manager with making it happen, resourcing and managing the changes. The corollary is that senior managers are concerned with the result and middle managers with how these are achieved. The divide appears as level complain that their seniors are solely concerned with the short-term financial result, and a senior replied that the middle strata devote more effort to voicing problems than to finding solution. In the both sector, the layering of organization has dramatically reduced the resources available to the middle manager. The divide deepens as each accuses the other of pursuing their own personal rather than organizational end. Then the middle accused senior of being concerned with their own career advancement. Senior accused middle of directing their efforts to protecting their position. Senior management, a group of high-level executive that actively participate in the daily supervision, planning, and administrative process required by business to help meet its objective. The senior management of a company is often appointed by the corporation boards of directors and approved by stockholders. And a middle management comprises of manager who head specific departments such as accounting, the marketing, production, and the human resources, or a business unit who serve as project manager in flat organization. Middle managers are responsible for implementing the top manager policies and plans and typically have to manage level below them. Underlying features of organization structure. It is important to bear in mind that there are many variables that influence the most appropriate organization structures and system of management, including the situational factors and the contingency approach, changing patterns of work organization, the demands for greater flexibility of our environment, and the multitasking challenges, multi, multi, multi-skilling challenge, and managerial processes such as delegation and empowerment also have a major interrelationship with structure and influence decision on structural design. While recognizing that there is a clearly no one rights organization, there is nevertheless, nevertheless, in the final analysis, an underlying needs to establish a framework of order and system of command by which the work to be taken is accomplished successfully. This demands that attention be given to certain basic principles and consideration in the designs of organization structure or in reviewing the effectiveness of an existing structure. These principles and considerations are not intended to be prescribed but to represent a series of important decision point for management and organizational behavior. Clarifications of objectives. The natures of organization and its strategy will indicate the most appropriate organization level for different functions and activities, and the formal relationship between them. Structures provide the framework for the activity of organization and must harmonize with the goals and objectives. And first step, therefore, it is to examine the objectives of organization. Only when objectives have been clearly defined can alternative forms of structure be analyzed and compared. Clearly defined objectives will be help facilitate system to communicate between parts of organization and extend to decentralization and empowerment by formal structure should make possible and attain of objectives. Task and element function. In order to produce some goods or provide some services, there are four essential functions that organization must be performed. Number one is a good or services must be developed. If you want to build a business, be sure that your goods and services is wala siya sa market, it means wala ka masyadong kakompetensya, and dapat meron siyang advantage between your competitors. Kung ano man yung goods or services na i-offer mo sa market. Number two is some things or value must be created. In this case of business organization might be the production or manufacture of the product. In this case of public sector or organization, provisions of a service. Number three, the product or service must be marketed. They must be distributed or made valuable to those who are used to them. So be sure that your product is available anytime so that a customer can purchase your product anytime, or product or services that you want to offer to the market. Number four is finance is needed in order to make available the resources used in the development, creation, and distributions of the product or services provide. Yes, finance is a very important when you are building your own business, because if you don't have a finance, you cannot build your own business. So finance is a very important in the business. These essential functions that Woodward refers to as the tasks. Functions are the basic activities of organizations that are related to the actual completions of the productive process and directed towards specific and definable end result to ensure that the efficient achievement of overall objectives of the organization. The results of the task function must be coordinated. Other activities of organization are not directed towards specific and definable ends but are supportive of the task, function, and intrinsic parts of the management process. These are referral to as element function as include, for example, human resources planning management services, public relation, quality control and maintenance. In the majority of organization, the HR function does not normally have any direct accountability for the performance of a specific end task. In certain organizations, however, noticeably in service industries involving direct customer contact, human resources management can be seen as a closely associated with the task function. According to Woodward, activities concerned with the raising funds of business, keeping accounts, and determinations of financial policy are task function. Management accounting, however, concerned with the prediction and control of production administration. Production administration is an elements function, and its primary as servicing and supportive ones. Relationship between the accountants and other managers seems better when they two functions were organizationally separate. Critical reflection. Many organizational conflict arise through elements functions such as human resources management, overstaffing responsibilities, and the failure to recognize that their primary purpose is to support essential task functions of organization. What are your views? What has been your experience of the relationship between task and element function? So that's the end of my report. So once again, good morning.